Hello everyone, this is Akash here from blenderscale.cf, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the basic interface of the Kaleidoscope add-on. So in this video I'm going to be going through the Spectrum palette node which comes with the Kaleidoscope add-on, and I'm going to be showing you the general structure of the interface and how it all works. So once when you have activated the add-on, if you come to a node editor like here, node editor, and then come to the materials tab, and if you press Shift A, you should have a Kaleidoscope category, and that you have Spectrum palette node. So you can just add in like that, and as you can see now we have the Spectrum palette node over here. So I'm going to be showing you the basic features and all the controls which the Spectrum palette node comes with. So it might look a bit complicated at first, but it's really simple. It's really simple to use, but it's really powerful as well. As you can see, some of them are just icons and not even text, so it's really easy to understand as well. We'll start from the top. So we have these color outputs over here, as you can see. So these are the node outputs which can be connected to any sort of input. So if I have a diffuse node over here, I can connect the color 2 to the color, and this color 2 over here will be assigned to this diffuse node over here like that. So so first one is this one, second, third, fourth, and fifth, so on like that. That's the color input. So you can manually connect them, or you can take one of them out and connect it to some other input as well. All some basic stuff, just as like a normal node would be. So that's the output, and then we have the interface of the node itself, starting with rule. So the rule is basically the type of rule which the Spectrum palette generation should use. So if you know what color rules are, they're basically kind of like an order which your colors should be in a scene. So if your colors follow that order or that specific rule, your scene is gonna look really nice. So there are a few rules which basically specify which colors go well with which colors. So you can create your own rules. Create your own palettes which follow that rule. But with the Spectrum palette node, you have it all over here, and you can generate it based on any rule. So by default it's set to monochromatic, and if you want to know what each and every rule is, you can click on this I button over here. This will open up a help section which you can read about. So as you can see, monochromatic scheme is the most basic color rule. It has colors of same hue but with varying saturation brightness. So that's basically monochromatic rule. If you click on refresh palette now, as you can see, it follows the monochromatic rule and it generates a color palette which has same hue, which is like basically the same shade of color, but it varies with saturation and values. So that's the monochromatic rule, as you can see. Really nice, really simple, as you can see. But the monochromatic rule should be used really wisely with any sort of scene you're creating, because it's sort of like a really subtle kind of color palette, as you can see. So it's a bit hard to notice the color from the monochromatic color palette, but it's still really nice. And so on, you have many more colors rules like analogous, and you can refresh, and you can see that it generates the palette based on the color rule which you select over here. So that's complementary, and you can again read about it like that. And then we have this this rule over here called custom. This custom is the it's gonna open up a new menu over here now. This is actually the custom rules which are exclusive to the Spectrum palette node. So these are some of the rules which I have created by myself, and they are basically some of the most beautiful and easy rules which are gonna look really nice for any sort of Blender scene you're creating. So the default one is vibrant, as you can see. So you should have the rule to be custom, and then vibrant. You'll see this type of custom rule menu over here. If I select vibrant, if I refresh the palette, as you can see, it's the vibrant color palette, as you can see. So if again you have the I button, and you can read about it and stuff. It's it's really basically just designed so you can understand it itself. As you can see, it's self-explaining. I mean, you don't even have to go to any guide or something, but it's just there. As you can see, pop-out scheme, it's all looking nice. And then you have the random and random rule option over here as well. So these are separate custom rules which are a bit similar to each other. And I'm just going to tell you what they do now. So if you select random, only random, as you can see, you're going to generate a color palette which does not follow any rules, and it's kind of like it generates a random color for any color like that. It generates a completely random color palette. As you can see, they don't even follow any rule, and in some cases you might find it looking really nice, but yeah, you can experiment with it. And then we have random rule as well. Random rule basically allows you to browse through all the rules together. So it's gonna select any of the rules over here randomly, and it's gonna generate a color palette based on this. So I have selected random rule. If I click on refresh palette, and it has generated a color palette based on some rule. If I click on refresh palette again, and this is actually the I think it's loading the online palette, that's why it's taking a bit of time. Okay, as you can, this is the online palette, and this is monochromatic, I think. So as you can see, it's randomly selecting any of the rules, and it's generating a palette, as you can see. So this rule is actually the best if you want to browse through all the palettes, but you don't have a specific rule in mind. So you can just select random rule and browse through all sorts of color palettes like that. Really helpful. And then we have the online mode as well. If you click on online, you have again two more options, as you can see. So this is the source menu, as you can see, standard and community. So the online palette also has two types: standard, which are the standard palettes which are added by me, and it's private to me. So if you use the Kaleidoscope add-on, the standard will load in all those palettes which I feed into the online database, right? So as you can see, these are some of the beautiful palettes which I've manually picked and created as well. So you'll find all of them over here. But if you want to get the palettes which all the Kaleidoscope users are using, which they have shared, you can use the community palette. So if you click on community, and if you click on refresh palette, you'll see it takes a bit of time to refresh, but it does this only once. And as you can see now, we have the community palette. So these are the the palettes which are published by users using the Kaleidoscope add-on. So you can share your you can publish your color palette so that even the other users can access it. And currently there are not many palettes added, so you'll see a lot of repetitions as well. So it's still having really less number of palettes. And again, you can read about it. And and there's a small shortcut over here if you want to, because as you can see now, it's using the loaded database itself to show the palettes. But in case if you want to again refresh the list of the community palettes, hold down shift and then left click on the refresh palette button. This is again gonna take a bit of time and get the palette file from the internet, and it's again gonna reload it. As you can see, community palette list has been updated. It's the same for the standard as well. If you shift and refresh palette, it's basically gonna reload it to provide you with the latest palettes as well, as you can see. So that's the that's the online mode, and all the rules which come with the Kaleidoscope add-on, as you can see, with the spectrum node basically. So now we have a few more options over here, as you can see, which is this magnet icon, which is basically to organize the color palettes. So if you click on this, now it's enabled. If I refresh a palette, as you can see, they are organized in a specific order. So if I go to like a scheme like complementary, click on refresh palette, as you can see, the colors are basically like these colors over here. The first three are same hue, but the last two are, as you can see, of different hue. But if I turn off this magnet icon, this organize option, and if I refresh palette, as you can see, it's not in order. As you can see, these three are same, these two are different, and this one actually it's completely different. It's alternate, as you can see, as even this one. So it's it's in a random order. But if you want to constrict it to a specific order, you can click on this magnet icon, this organize option, and this is gonna organize it. So this option is there for nearly all the color schemes except the online ones, because the online ones have a specific order, and that is followed by the Kaleidoscope add-on. So you can't control the order of that. As you can see, it's not there over here. So that's the organize option. And then we have the base color over here, use custom base color. If you enable it, you'll see a new box over here. Now this base color option allows you to generate a color palette based on a color which you have defined. So if by default, if you click a refresh palette button over here like this, it's generating a random color, and then on top of that it's generating the palette. So in this palette, the base color is yellow. In this one it's blue. So it's like that. So if you want to give a custom base color, like if I want to give like orange color as the base color, if I click on refresh palette, it's gonna use this base color to generate a color palette. and this is followed by all the analogous and all the other schemes as well, as you can see. Now this one is not exactly orange, but it's it's giving the shades which are around orange, like red and yellow, and this one also has orange, so it's nearly or exactly equal to it, and it works really well. And it works with the custom rules as well, like pop out and stuff. You can generate it based on that as well. But again, the online mode, it doesn't have this option for using a custom base colors. If you again refresh the palette, it's disappeared now. It's not there because it's a database, so you can't search from the database for that. So I might add that option in the future, but currently it's not there. So the next option we are going to look at is the real-time hue shift of the base color. So if you want to have a live or a real-time preview of your color palette being generated when you change the base color, you can use this option. So like by default, if you change a color, change a base color, and then you need to click on this refresh palette to get the new palette. And if you again change the color and then again refresh, so it's sort of taking a bit of time to do that. If you enable this eye icon over here, this will now enable the real-time hue shift. So now if you open up the base color option over here, actually I might show you properly over like this. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so now if I change the colors, you'll see the color palettes change in real time, as you can see. Now if I enable the organize option, it's gonna be much more better. As you can see, as I change my colors, the palettes are also changing, and yeah, I can in real time find out the palette which I want. So I can choose a color rule like analogous or something, and then I can yeah, basically generate a color palette based on any sort of color I want, like that, as you can see. It's really helpful way to find a custom color palette really quickly. So this is an option. It's not like on by default. You can switch it on or off, just because with color ramps the add-on might become a bit slower, so you may not want to use base colors at the real-time base color option for that. That's why in that case you can switch it off, but yeah, in all the other cases it works really fine, as you can see. So that's all with the base colors and stuff. So now let's move on to the most amazing and the most creative button of this entire spectrum palette node, which is this refresh palette button. So the refresh palette button is basically refreshing, or it generates a completely new color palette based on all the above rules which you have specified. So you can specify rules over here, all sorts of rules like organize, base color, and all that stuff. And once when you're happy with the rules, you can click on this nice refresh palette button. It connects you to the spectrum engine, which generates the nice color palette, and it gives you the nice output with the color palette, as you can see. So this is the amazing button which you are gonna use a lot of time in this node, the refresh palette button. And as I told you, it has two shortcuts, actually one shortcut, holding down shift and left clicking on this. If you're using online mode, as you can see, it refresh the list of the of the online palettes, as you can see. Yeah, as you can see, that's cool. And now let's move on to the global controls. So if I generate again a color palette, let's use an online color palette for this case. Yeah, let's use this one. So as you can see, now I have a palette. Now if I want to increase the saturation of the colors, I would have to open each and every color and then manually increase the saturation like that. But if I do that, I'm actually destroying the ratio of the saturation which comes by the palette. So if I increase this and if I increase this really less, so I'm actually destroying it. Now it's not bad to play around with the colors of the palette, but a better way to do that would be using a global control which increases it for every color over here. So if you open the view global controls, you'll have hue, saturation, value. Now if you increase any of them, you are basically controlling all the colors of your palette just with the one slider, as you can see. So if I want to increase the value, if I increase it, it's increasing it in proportion for the for all the colors in the color palette. But if I want to decrease it, and it's following that, as you can see. So again, you can increase the saturation like that, you can decrease the value or increase it. And you have the hue option. If you want to completely change the hue of your color palette, you can also do that, as you can see. Really nice and really powerful feature. Okay, that's nice. And then we have the few utility options over here, as you can see, which has this arrow icon, invert and shuffle. So with the the spectrum node over here, it's supposed to be really flexible and allow you to create any sort of color palette you want. But once a color palette is generated, like any sort of, like as you can see this one, let's use triadic now. As you can see, if a color palette is generated now, you are constricted to this order. So if you want to change the order, you would have to actually connect it in a different way. But then if you want to move this purple to this one, if you move it like that, you have basically lost the other color which was over here. So that's not good. That's why we have added this shuffle, invert and all that option like that. So if you click on shuffle, it's basically shuffling the order of the color palette. As you can see, it's shuffled now. As you can see, it's changing the color order, the colors order, as you can see. And yeah, you can click on it and find the correct order if you want. And one more shortcut which this shuffle option also has is if you hold down shift again, like every button over here, if you hold down shift, there's a shortcut like that. So if you hold down shift and click on the shuffle button, it's gonna basically bring it to the actual order which it was in. So as you can see, palette was reset. And yeah, so if you shuffle it a lot, and if you want to get back to what you had, shift and left click on this, your order is still there. Really helpful. And then you have again invert options. So invert basically inverts your palette completely, as you can see. Now the option I have added over here, invert, is because shuffling is basically shuffling it in a random order. And if you want to just invert the colors, it's hard to keep shuffling and get the order which is inverted. And that's why the invert option is basically for inverting it, as you can see like that. Really nice. And again, if you have inverted it, you can hold down shift and left click, and it's back to the actual order, as you can see. And then you have the this button over here, which is the previous palette button. So if you're going through all the color palettes like really fast like this, but if you have just spotted a amazing palette, as you can see, so that one was really nice, the one which went before this one, and now it's basically gone because it's completely procedural generation. And yeah, to get that back, that's why we have added the history option like that. So if you click on this button, you can browse through the previously generated palettes, as you can see. So it stores up to 3 history palettes, but I might increase it in the future. And yeah, as you can see, this was the 3rd palette, as you can see, and this is the 2nd, and this is the most recent palette. So I can just browse through like that. It's really helpful. So that's with all the the history option. Really nice. And yeah, it basically allows you to experiment more with the node, as you can see. And then we have the options over here, the menu and options for saving and loading all your color palettes, the custom color palettes. So for example, if I like this color palette, which actually I don't like that one, let's generate a custom rule one. I like the pop out scheme a lot. That's why I'm gonna use it. Let's use a nice blue color like that. That's nice. And suppose I like this palette a lot and I want to save it for later use. Well, with Kaleidoscope you can even do that. So if you click on this plus icon, you have this option for saving a color palette, and it'll ask you the palette name. So you can enter a palette name over here. So let me call it pop out itself. Okay, that's fine. And then if you click on yes, it's gonna show pop out palette saved successfully, and it's now saved, and you can access it by opening this menu and accessing it. So like if I refresh it, and if I want to load that back, I can just open this menu and select the palette which I want. So this one has a separate icon just because of the syncing feature which Kaleidoscope has. And if you want to understand what these icons mean, you can watch the syncing. You can watch the video which I've created for setting up syncing feature with Kaleidoscope add-on. So in that I explain what all these things mean. But yeah, as you can see, I have some of the previously saved palettes as well. As you can see, I can browse through them as well. Yeah, really nice, as you can see. And if I want to remove a palette, I can click on this minus icon, and it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete the palette? And yes, I want to delete it. So I can click on yes, and it's deleted. Okay, and then this button over here which we have is going to connect you to the world. And what I mean by that is basically you can share your color palettes with the users who are using the Kaleidoscope add-on. So suppose I want to share this palette which I've created right now with all the other users. Actually I might modify it a bit just because this color looks a bit similar to what I have. Okay, that's fine. So I like this palette and I want to share this with all the Kaleidoscope users. So if I click on this button, it'll give me a big info sort of a menu over here, so you can read about it. It'll ask you if you want to publish the palette, and yeah, it gives some basic guidelines over here. So if your palette does not look nice and if it's like a duplicate, then it would get deleted, because I would be manually yeah, administrating the palettes of the community list. So you can click on this yes, and it's gonna publish it. So as you can see, palette published successfully. You can shift click refresh to reload the community palettes. So now I have published this palette to the Kaleidoscope users. So whenever any user goes to the online mode, and if they use the community source, and if I suppose reload the list, so if I hold on shift and left click, it's now you're gonna show up your palette as well, because you have published it to all the other users. So if I keep refreshing, as you can see now, this palette, as you can see, it's now over here as well. So it's published to the internet, and any Kaleidoscope add-on user can also access it and yeah, use it with the scene. So yeah, you can read about it, and this palette ID over here, which is there for all the online palettes, is basically like an ID value which is unique for each and every palette registered over here. So if you have any other problem, like if you want to tell me that this palette is not good, you can click on this problem button, specify the palette ID, and yeah, I can look into it, because there are so many palettes in the list and it's hard to go through if you just tell me that this palette looks bad. So this palette ID option would this palette ID would really help me a lot. So that's with the publishing palettes and stuff. Really nice feature, and which I hope the community likes it, because yeah, you can share your palettes as well. And the final feature which we have over here is the color ramp. So if I add in a color ramp node, just to show you what I mean by that, so shift A, convert to color ramp. Now this node is really similar to this node in the way, because this has a color palette, and even in this you can create a color palette. And I find myself using the color ramp node a lot in most of my scenes, because it allows you to manipulate the colors for your objects and stuff. So it's really nice, and I wanted to make the spectrum node as well compatible with color ramp node. That's why we have the ramp option over here. Now if you click on this, you'll have an option to select the color ramp node. So you'll have all the nodes from this node tree, and you can select color ramp, and now you can enable this option over here, which is this nice tiny button over here, as you can see. So it shows assign the colors from spectrum to color ramp. So if I click on it, now this spectrum node is invisibly connected to this color ramp. So now I know you can't see any link, but it's connected to it, right? And now if I do any sort of edit over here for this spectrum node with any of the color palette, whatever I do with the color palette, it's all gonna be just transferred to this color ramp node as well. So if I make a change over here, like if I make this color blue, as you can see, it's like connected completely to it. So if I refresh a palette over here, I can do any sort of thing what I was doing with the spectrum palette node, and it's now connected to this color ramp as well. So it's just transferring it nicely. As you can see, really nice. If I use this saturation and stuff, really really nice feature, as you can see. And now it's connected to this, so I can manipulate the colors here. So I can change this to like constant, and then okay, I want this color more, this is lesser, this is more, and like that, and I can use it in my node setup. So that's really useful. And yeah, basically if you don't have a valid node over here, example, if I click on refresh palette, it's showing that there's not a valid color ramp node. So yeah, it even notifies you if there's a problem in that. Now these option of ramp and all, it's all like specific to the material you're creating. Like for the spectrum palette node, if you duplicate it and if you use it in other material, if you refresh the palette here, it's gonna also refresh it over there, right? So it's it's completely connected, like it's the same for every scene you're creating. But for the color ramp node, it's different. If I create a new material, for example, to show you over here, if I add in the spectrum palette node, if I add in a color ramp node as well, and as you can see, if I click on refresh palette over here, this is the other material, and if I go to the other material, over here also the palettes have changed. Now over here I'm going to select a color ramp and I'm going to activate this. Okay, and I'm refreshing the palette, and over here the ramp is also there. If I go to the other material, here the ramp is not there because this section over here, it's defined by the material, so it's different for every material. So I can select a different color ramp node over here, and I can enable it and I can use it, as you can see. So it's really designed to work with any sort of scene you're creating, and the spectrum palette node works with all lamp, world, materials, anything. That's really easy to use as well. And finally, the option which I want you to pay a bit of attention is the credits for the add-on basically. So I've spent a lot of time in creating this, probably like half a year or something, and coding is just like a hobby for me now. And if you want to support me in creating more add-ons like this for free, you can click on the support me button, and you can subscribe to my channel. You can donate something to me, or you can even try to develop or try to modify the Kaleidoscope add-on and improve it basically. That's gonna really help me, and it basically makes me happy as well. So you can click on the support me button and support me with my creation. So that's all with the Kaleidoscope, with the spectrum palette node of the Kaleidoscope add-on. And again, really straightforward and easy to use, but really flexible and powerful as well. If you have any other questions, you can contact me, and yeah, I'll be always happy to help you with whatever problems you have. So yeah, thanks for watching.